What's up, YouTube? It's Legion of Gaming here, and we are back today with another episode of our Mass Effect Legendary Edition playthrough on Insanity difficulty. In the last episode, we finished taking care of the Rack Knight and Liara's mother, Matriarch Benezia. So let's go on down here and talk to Liara and see what is going on with her and how she's taking things. Now, just so you guys know, before I recorded this, I went and grinded out all of our side content off camera, so we are now level 19, and we have picked up a little bit of extra gear, and as you can see, we have a lot more money now. So that's why I was saying, if you do the side content, money can become very irrelevant, because I basically bought one of the best weapons in the game and I still have all this money left, so you can almost completely outfit your entire team with the best gear in the game and still have plenty of money to do whatever you want. If you're feeling like you need to, you can go purchase all the metagel upgrades and things like that at the Citadel and the other vendors, but let's get into this.
I get the feeling you want to ask me something, Commander.
Let's talk.
I like talking with you, Liara, no matter what the subject.
You have been very understanding with me, Shepard. Very patient. I appreciate that. I know there are some strange beliefs about my people. I am familiar with the legend of Asari promiscuity, but those rumors have little basis in fact. When one of my people joins with an individual from another species, it is a very deep and spiritual exchange. We do not enter lightly into a union.
A spiritual exchange?
You make it sound almost mystical.
A true union goes far beyond an ordinary melding. It is a connection that transcends the physical universe. Two become one. Thoughts and senses merge, identities intertwine. Memories and emotions weave themselves together, becoming entangled in a single, rapturous whole. It is unlike any other experience. In some cases, it can be a truly life-changing event.
I'm intrigued.
Sounds amazing. Are you saying...
No. Oh, no. I am not very good at this, am I? I'm sorry, Shepard. I am trying to explain why I have been so reserved. The Union is more than just sex. It is the lifeblood of my species, the way we Asari evolve and grow as a society. That is why I have never... that is why we must choose our partners with great care.
There's no rush, Liara.
I want you to be absolutely sure about this, Liara.
I am only 106, barely an adult by Asari standards, and I spend most of my time absorbed in my research. I never really thought about it. Not until I met you. You are very special to me, Shepard. But with all that's happened, Saren, the Geth, the Reapers, I do not know if we are ready for this.
I understand.
These are dark times, Liara. Maybe once all this is over.
I'm glad you understand, Shepard. There is too much at stake. We need to put aside our personal feelings and focus on stopping Saren. I wish it did not have to be that way. But we all have to make sacrifices. Let's talk about something else.
I should go.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
So as you can see, we got another little 90 XP there, and another codex entry about the Asari. See if Kaiden has anything to say.
Anything you need, Commander?
Looking for personal input.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I didn't figure you'd have time to talk with all that's going on. I mean, there are reports to file, on the Rachni and on Annaleus.
They can wait.
The paperwork will keep. Something on your mind?
I'm just looking for an ear. The debriefing wasn't the right place to say how ridiculous this is. Seems like every other race in the galaxy is wrapped up in their own problems. They don't want to see what's coming.
You can't blame them.
Wanting to believe everything will be fine? Sounds like human nature to me.
Yeah, I guess some things carry across species well enough. I should remember that after what happened with Vernus.
You forgave him?
I think you'd carry a grudge over the crap you took from Vernus.
Before I met Vernus, I knew as much as any other civilian. Aliens were weird, superior, and tried to tell us what to do. I mean, it's only been 26 years since first contact. That's not a lot of time to understand them. It was Vernus who made me see how human aliens are. They're not different or special. They're jerks and saints, just like us. Hell, by the time I got payback, I didn't even want it anymore.
And so, when you continue to talk to your squad mates, like Presley, Kaiden, and everybody else, and particularly the other human crewmates that you have, you really kind of get a sense for how new humanity is to interacting with other species and things like that. And I think that BioWare was really trying to do a very good job of that and communicating that humanity was very much new, and that's why you had to try so hard to get them to believe you when you were trying to prove Saren was trying to be corrupt and that he was the one that killed Nihilus and so on and so forth. So I think that's really interesting to see as you continue to go through the game, that kind of persists, and that you can kind of start to understand why exactly your human crewmates are so cautious and so reserved around your alien crewmates, and it kind of evolves throughout the series. But let's see what happened with him and Varenus.
I don't see you snapping very easily. What finally did it?
He hurt Rana, broke her arm. She reached for a glass of water instead of pulling it biotically. She just wanted a drink without getting a nosebleed, you know? Like an idiot, I stood up. Didn't know what I was gonna do, just something. And Vernus lost it. Beat the crap out of me. Kept shouting how they should have bombed us back to the Stone Age. And that's when the knife came up. A military-issue talon, right in my face. I cut loose. Full biotic kick right in the teeth. Almost as strong as I can manage now. At 17, that's something.
You trying to help Rana.
You wanted to help a girl you cared for. That's a noble thing.
Maybe my intentions were noble, but I lost control. I killed him, Shepard. Snapped his neck. They probably could have saved him if they got him to an infirmary quick enough. But they didn't. Caused a stir when they shipped him home. Bot training was shut down. Kinetics folded a couple of years later. So, yeah, maybe I hated that terrain. I mean, if one ass was enough to judge a whole race, I'd hate humans too.
Fair enough.
A reasonable stance. Keep that level head and we'll do fine.
Staying reasonable is about all we've got left. Everyone else in this galaxy seems to have gone out of their minds. Present company accepted, of course.
And so there you can kind of see that is how a lot of people in the Mass Effect universe will go and view things, is based off of their interactions with, one species or another, and that only interaction is kind of the only basis that some of them have, to really go and base what their opinion of those races are or what they see on, and they have the extranet here and things like that. So it's really kind of interesting to see, that BioWare went and put that kind of level of detail into the game. So, in case you were wondering where we got
looking for supplies?
The weapons
Let's
from
see what you've got.
You bet, Commander.
That I was talking about, you can see here, it's 266,000 for you to do the shotgun and 237.5 for the assault rifle. You can't see the prices for the sniper rifle and the pistol because those are the two that I bought. When you go back to the Citadel, I believe he restocks and has another one for you. But as you can see, I haven't really been purchasing the licenses or anything like that because remember there is a upcharge slightly on all of these items, so it's best for you to just buy them on the Citadel, so that way you're not paying the extra money. Let's talk to Garrus now.
Commander, good to see you.
Alright, so Garrus doesn't really have anything to say for us. Again, we're not really going to talk to Ashley because we're pretty committed to our romance with Liara, so we don't want to do anything to jeopardize that. Let's talk to our buddy Rex.
Shepard.
Tell me something about yourself, Rex.
So, you'd rather be a merc than help your people?
I'm a fighter. It's what I do.
Yes, so wait, if you guys are remembering, our last conversation with Rex was actually about, why he had left Tuchanka originally, which was because his dad actually invited him to a crush, which in Krogan culture is a meeting on neutral ground where there's supposed to be no weapons and you're supposed to kind of have a verbal debate, which anyone knowing the Krogan would not expect anything that civilized out of them, and if they showed up at that meeting, then that's exactly what they would have gotten. And so what ended up happening was, just when Rex started to, make his case, all of his followers were ambushed by his fathers, and then he ended up actually having to fight his own father and kill him in a knife fight and then flee the planet. And he really hasn't gone back since then.
Aren't you at all worried about what will happen to the Krogan?
What the hell do you want me to do about it, Shepard? I'm tired of sticking my ass on the line and getting nothing for it.
That's your reason?
So you're just giving up on your people?
I gave up on fighting for a lost cause. I'm not like you, Shepard. I'm no hero. Bottom line, killing for credits simplifies things.
Sometimes.
You ever think about helping your people?
I try not to. But there's a lot of Krogan mercs out there. I'm always running into them. Half the time I'm being paid to kill them. But that's just part of the job. You don't get to pick who your enemies are.
I see.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
And so, that's actually one of the things that regardless if you have these conversations with Rex or Tali or any of your crewmates, in the second game, if everyone survives, they're still going to go and end up in the same places that they are. It's just that they will be different if you don't have some of these conversations with them, and you get unique dialogues and things like that, so that's why we're continuing to talk to them. So with Rex, when you see him in Mass Effect 2, you'll kind of see the effect that some of our conversations with him have had on him. Tali, I don't believe, has any other dialogue outside of...
You need something?
Yeah, so she just has those three until we complete the... there's this assignment here in our journal, which is actually the one we're going to be doing, which is Geth Incursions. I already did the first planet, but they're all very much the same. You basically go to the planet just like with the exploration I was showing you guys back when we went and found Liara, where you go to a planet and instead of having that straight path that you're driving around on and things like that, it's kind of a little small snapshot of the planet that you drive around on, and you can get mineral deposits and investigate debris and things like that. And it just is more ways for you to get experience and things like that, and sometimes there'll be ambushes and so on and so forth. But so whenever we get to the end of this, if we go and talk to Tali, she will actually ask about having a copy of all the data we get from these servers that we're going to, because that's basically what we're doing, is we're going onto these planets and we're either taking out units of Geth, or we're going there and clearing the bunkers and getting data so that we can go and take care of their incursion, because obviously, just based off of what happened at Eden Prime, we don't want the Geth to be going around impaling everybody on a bunch of spikes or anything like that, because we are still, even though we're a Spectre, trying to protect human interests. But this will also kind of give you a little taste of what the exploration is like for the side quests. So this right here where it says debris is basically gonna be like a satellite or any random thing, and you go there and you do a lock picking and it lets you into it. Then whenever you see an anomaly, usually it's either gonna be a trap, there could be a thresher maul there could be a Geth ambush that shows up, or it could just be that it's something that gives you a quest on the mission. But typically if you already have a quest, it's going to be these little X's here on the map. But we're going to go over here first, and then since I took Tali with me here, I need to go ahead and level her up, because as you can see, we have not used her at all basically. the way I usually do Tali is the same way I usually do everybody who has sabotage and electronics, which is max those out first, then get dampening, then, as with all of our squad mates, get them maxed out on whatever armor it is that they are able to use. Then for her, hacking can be pretty good as well. And the hacking basically is just gonna be able to go and hack the Geth, so that way if you have one that's going and, you know, really getting you down there like you're having trouble dealing with it, you can kind of just hack them. If you happen to have Tali in your party, she is the only squad member who has that ability. So if you just really are having a tough time when you're fighting the Geth, then I would recommend bringing her and Garrus with you, because if you're an Infiltrator, then it'll just give you access to another overload and things like that. So we've got a Thresher Maw here, and something that I actually went and found out just in exploration and things like that is if you just sit here like this and either face them straight or do it with your back turned to them, as opposed to trying to run around and dodge, it actually is a little bit easier. As you can see, we're still taking a fair bit of damage. Whenever you see these, just do yourself a favor and run past, and just don't even entertain that, and it'll just reset eventually back to the middle, and you just go right on back in there. Because if you just keep running around with the sensors and everything, ultimately he's still gonna follow you around, and you're either eventually gonna get hit and dealt a lot of damage, especially on higher difficulties, and you're just gonna be down. And so then just be careful that you're at least a little bit farther away, so that way the acid and stuff has more time to spread out, and that way you're only getting hit by one as opposed to multiple ones, and that really just makes it pretty easy. As you can see, you got 30 grand just for defeating that one enemy, and then you got about 1,300 experience. So even though we're level 19, look at how much experience that is. So it's taken us, we're already about to, you know, go get a whole nother level. So that's why getting the codex entries and, you know, trying to maximize the experience that you're getting can really just be helpful and make it very easy to get through the game. So we got another Prothean data disk, and that was 20 grand and 185 XP. And so then you can come over here, and if you want, you can identify this. It doesn't give you a codex or anything like that. They'll give you a little dialogue here saying that it was a vehicle of human corpses, shown telltale signs of Geth weapon fire. The Geth had been mangled by the Thresher Maw. At least they got what was coming to them. So you can see here it was like a little ambush. So on one of your side assignments, you go to a abandoned planet, and it's like a the Geth fake a distress signal, and then you show up on that planet, and that's probably what happened there, where they were responding to a distress signal that was getting faked by the Geth, and that's why they were right there. So now that we have got that, we are going to grab this again because we love free experience, and then after that we'll go and be actually completing the assignment on this planet. And this is kind of how the exploration goes. The only thing that we haven't seen on this planet yet that you'll see on other planets is the valuable mineral resource markers, and that's just like 3 little gems inside of a circle. If we have one on one of the planets, I'll show it to you. But if this kind of stuff doesn't really interest you, you do not have to do it, and you do not have to do these side assignments. You can just focus on the main story, and you should get enough money to still be able to buy like the best weapons in the game and things like that, and still level up effectively enough that you will be able to complete the game. It just might be a little bit more challenging for you if you're doing it on Insanity and things like that. And I'm sure even if you don't on Insanity, you can still find a pretty easy way to get through things. So like I said, you just do the same little exercise you do when you're getting those. Got another medical interface. Let's see, I'm pretty sure everybody's got one at this point. I just want to make sure that it's not. So that's an upgrade for ours. Then Garrus. So we'll give Garrus our old one. And then since I'm not really using Tali, I'm pretty much just using Rex and Garrus and Liara. I'm not really going to bother to give her too many upgrades. I'm just going to give her a couple so that way she can, you know, not be too much of a hindrance for the mission. So something cool that you can kind of do here, which this is one of the cool moments where getting to be an infiltrator helps you, as you can see, we can literally sit right here and we can just snipe everybody from up here if we want. And just sit right down here. Because we have those upgraded weapons, you can see that we basically one-shot everyone. Now, you want to be careful if you're gonna do this option, because that little Geth armature down there will one-shot you. If you stick your head out and he is there and he shoots you, if that guy shoots, you're basically just gonna die. And there's not gonna be anything you can do about it. So the easy way to do it is to just go get in here and then just snipe everybody from there. Because as you can see, it's a lot safer for us to be over here doing it this way than it is for us to be over there risking potentially getting one shot. I'm gonna go ahead and reposition though, because I kind of thought he was gonna go down a little easier than that. And we'll go boom. And so then you can see from now on it's just nice and easy stuff. And just be right here. If you want to start sniping after that, you can. Because really he's the only one that's any kind of real threat to you. Everybody else is just doing negligible damage. And if it gets a little hairy, then you know you can always just hit your repair button and you will be a-okay. And so then you see we have another little dropship encounter right here, because whenever you clear them out on these, they'll just dropship in more people. And so it's kind of just like a little wave combat thing. Not really anything too challenging. As you can see, there are 2 Geth primes, which that's supposed to be, you know, like
done. We're halfway there.
The strongest guys for them. And so then, as you can see, you just get an absolute insane amount of loot. So like I was saying, if you just keep doing these side quests and getting all of this loot, you just make so much money. And so you can see here we didn't really get any additional indicators or anything like that. So there's probably not going to be any valuable resources here that you can collect for that assignment. So we're just going to go back to the Normandy. And then you heard Tali say that that's 2 down. That's 2 out of 5, because once you complete the first 4, then they're like, oh hey, by the way, there's another one you have to do. So as you can see here, we only have 4 systems, so you know there's only going to be 1 in each system, and then there's a 5th system that pops in here once you go and complete these first ones. And so then, you know, same thing as before, where you can just go into each of these and see if there's going to be anything that you can find there, whether it's valuable resources, whether it's a Prothean data driver or whatever, for the other little kind of fetch quest, basically. And so we're going to, it's going to be the exact same thing again on this one, where we're just gonna get dropped on, and we'll just go straight there after grabbing the side stuff that's available on this planet. So, you can see here there's 2 anomalies, so probably one of them is going to be a trap, and one of them will not be. Let's get started with this one, and then we'll get that clone and stuff. These kinds of planets are a little bit more of the more annoying ones to explore, so unless you just enjoy the challenge of trying to drive up the top of these mountains, I would definitely recommend that you just kind of skip it. At least on these. Because it's just, sometimes if you hit something at the wrong angle, then it just sends you all the way back down, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, I gotta go all the way back up here again. Like, it definitely got better with them putting the little speed boost on here. In the original game, it was very terrible because all you had was the jump. And if you accidentally pressed jump while you were going halfway up the mountain, it would literally just send you all the way back to the bottom. It was very frustrating. So, you see that little marker over there is where we are going. And so you see how it kind of jostles you around a little bit. It will continue to do that as long as you're not on level ground. So, this is a Solarian ID tag, 20 grand and 200 more experience. Now we're gonna go over here and get that. So, I recommend trying to stay as high up as you can. Now, you want to kind of drive along the edges here, just so that way you're not going down unnecessarily and having to redo all your hard work if you did manage to get up here pretty easily. And as you can see, it's not too hard once you're at the top to do things, but usually that will make you go up and then go back down on the other side, which is why you really want to watch to make sure that you're not going down too early or anything like that. And then as you can see here, we've got some enemies over there on the side, so go ahead and get this, and then we'll get over there to deal with them. And so this is what I was saying. Basically, if you have multiple anomalies, then at least one of them is going to be a trap. I think that this one is gonna be a bunch of the Geth armatures like that was in that clearing there at the end of that one. These ones just won't be as strong because that was a Colossus, whereas the armatures are a little bit weaker, so it's easier for you to take them down, but it's still loads of free experience if you can do it. And you can kind of just, manipulate the terrain here to your advantage. So we're just sitting right there. We got another one right here. So we got 3 turrets and we got 3 armatures. So what we want to do is just continue to do our thing right here and avoid damage, and just come up over here and then go back down. And then just keep playing kind of peekaboo with them until you get done. So see what I mean about how the armatures don't take as much? So we're positioned right now to where only 2 of them can hit us because the hill is blocking the other shot. Then just back it on down, go back up. And so as you can see, it's way easier to dodge. One, boink. If you actually run into them right before they're about to shoot, you can interrupt them and things like that. And so that was something they were just using to communicate to all of their troops. And so now we're gonna go right on over here, and then we'll be done with this planet. And once again, this one, they didn't put any of those valuable resources or things like that, but for the side content ones, like, here, I'll show you some. Because these are some of the ones that I saved because they kind of have like a little bit of interesting stuff on them. You've got an espionage probe, you've got the dead scientists on those planets. There will be valuable resources and things like that that you can interact with that will go and, you know, help you continue on the fetch quests and things like that. Oh, spoke too soon. You see this little 3 dot that just appeared on our minimap? That is what you're looking for if you're trying to grind out the valuable resources. Little side quest. And if you thought that the keepers, finding all the keepers was annoying, this quest is even more annoying. But if you're like me and you're a completionist and you just can't help by being compelled to complete all of the assignments so that you don't have to stare at them like you're failing every time when you open your journal book, then by all means. And so as you can see, we're getting 20,000 for every one of those that we find, as well as 200 experience. So just in this episode alone, we almost got halfway to the amount of money it takes to get one of those weapons, and all we did was, you know, 4 or 5 planets basically. So if you just keep grinding those things out, then that's really how you're able to just get plenty of equipment and buy whatever upgrades it is that you want. I recommend, though, not trying to do too much of the exploring before you've done at least 2 of the main storyline missions, like we did Novaria and Therum, and that's because the main storyline missions will actually, at least in my experience, give you a fair bit of extra loot, and just that all makes it easier for you. So we're just going to be doing the same thing here that we did last time, where we're just going to be taking out as many of them from over here as we can, and we'll just let that hit us, because it's just one, and there's nobody else there, basically. So the other ones, you know, we're going to have to go a little bit further out before we can see them, so we're just going to... And then if you watch your shields, they'll regenerate after a second, depending on how many, like how high your electronics and stuff is. That's also why you want to have people with electronics on you if you're doing Mako exploration, is that makes your shield stronger, and it also makes you repair more when you use that repair feature. Alright, so... same thing as before, we just duck and using our terrain to our advantage there. As you can see, the minigun will just knock people down, so that's why it's better if you can just wait until you hit them with the rocket or the main cannon. So for this one, you go and take out the dropship and then it'll stop dropping guys. So if you just want to farm experience, I think you could just not hit the dropship at all and just only kill the guys that are coming on the ground. But I usually just take it out anyways, because like I said, I'm doing all the side content and completing it, so I'm getting everything anyways. So
Just one
very
more
easy,
outpost left.
and then you see it'll still give you the completion once the dropship's away, but you know us, we're all about this free XP, so we're not about to be over there passing up on having the chance to get some more kills. So another 1,000 experience, that's what we're talking about. Let's look at my stabilizers, because yeah, I saw that we got a couple of those. And as you can see, when you get to the higher level weapons, just like I was saying with the armor, you will eventually have like double upgrade slots, which is really the only kind of added incentive for you to go and be doing all of this stuff. And then we've got another mineral deposit over here, so we're gonna get that, and then we'll be on our way to the next to last planet.
En route.
Another 20k, and you do need to drive kind of out of the outpost area sometimes to get it to let you go back to the Normandy, because sometimes it just won't let you, like you saw when we went into our map that first time, it didn't want us to. And over here to Vemshe. And so this, I believe, is another one where you're going to go into a bunker. The first one that I did was where you had to go into a bunker, like back when you take care of the AI there on Luna. So we're just going to land here and take care of it. Same layout as before. We're taking Tali and Garrus. You can also take Kaiden if you want, because he also has tech abilities like Overload and Sabotage, but I just like taking Tali and Garrus better, just since I already have all the same abilities that Kaiden does, minus his biotic abilities. And then let's see. So, and this is usually how it goes, where they will set the stuff from the opposite side, so it's making you go out of your way to do this side content. And we have another mineral deposit here. And like I said, it's weird, it's like they randomly decided which ones they were going to put the resources on and which ones they weren't, because there are some planets that have quests on them, and because of that, if they were like main quests, then they just didn't put anything on there. And there's others like this one where they put it on a couple, but not on others. Another 20 in the bank. And as you can see, this one is not nearly as mountainous as the last one. There's really only a few that are like that. Most of them aren't too terrible. Or like you only have to go up to a mountain and do some difficult driving on a few parts. And here we go. Should be right. So, and you have some like this where you really have to watch the map, because if you were looking for, you know, a crashed probe or anything like that, you'd be like, what the world? So you saw that our journal updated, so that means that we finally got rid of this Turian insignia, when, as you can see, we still have a lot of valuable minerals, and there's a lot of these where we just need one more of everything. And that's why it can be kind of frustrating for you towards the end because you're just like, man, would you guys just hurry up and give me this so I can clear this thing out of here? But like I said, it's just free experience, so if you're just trying to get that edge over the computer, this is a very easy way of doing it. This one is right here. So this one I don't think gives you anything. This one's just like a codex thing. Nope, not even a codex. And then we gotta get this down satellite, and then we will be back on our way to the next Geth outpost. And so then the thing also, in case I didn't mention it before, about a lot of these sign assignments is for like Fist and some of the other NPCs that you interact with, like Barlavan. There are a lot of reoccurring NPCs in the Mass Effect games, so if you do a lot of the side assignments, you will typically see them in one of the other games. Now this one I think is probably going to be on the other side of this hill here, but sometimes if you're in one of those areas where it's difficult to get up or whatever, you want to be careful and be sure of where you're going before you start driving off the cliffs and stuff, if it was like that last planet we were on.
You lead, I'll follow.
Further we gotta go. So most of the way there, and as you can see, it's gonna be up a little bit, so if we'd have gone up this one, we would have still had to go back down. So we'll probably be able to see it when we go over here. And there's the other mineral deposit right there, if you can see where I just shot. And then probably gonna be more missile turrets over there on this side, just based off of previous experience. So if that is the case, what we want to do is come over this way, right? Because again, it's the same thing as like with that last little ambush. You just don't want to be taking unnecessary fire, right? So you can just sit here, because as you can see, these other turrets are already shooting at us. So just same thing with the snipers. Whenever you have a sniper shooting at you and you just have a shot and you're not sure where it's coming from, just follow the smoke trail. And the other two will probably look to be up here on the right. And then we got another level up. So you can see that only this one right here was really able to get at us. And we are good to go. Let's go ahead and hit our next level up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start putting points here into fitness, just because now we have a lot more health, so now it kind of makes more sense because this increase in health percentage is a little bit bigger. If you are still concerned about money and you don't want to necessarily do all that side content, like I said, you can always go for this motivated buyer thing, and again, because you're selling things that are generally more expensive, your percentage is going to be better on it now, so now it might be worth it for you to go into it. but that's all up to you. Now, I'm just gonna keep going with assault rifles with Garrus just because the AI usually doesn't use sniper rifles all that well. Basically, I don't recommend going into sniper rifles unless it's your character. Now, they do use the Carnage pretty well, so that's something that I'll probably go and get Tali the next rank of in case if we are ever using her on another mission. Because like Vermeer, which is another of the main quest missions, is another one that it can be good to take her on if you want. And again, same reason as with this one. Kind of forgot what side that was supposed to be on for a second there. Like I was saying before, the snipers are kinda an even bigger threat than the rocket guys, because the rocket guys, their stuff moves slow, but the snipers, you're just like, I kinda just lost a quarter of our thing out of nowhere here. And as you can see, sometimes if they just get knocked down, then you know you're not in a good spot. So, like I was saying, you can just drive over them, and it kinda has some funny interactions there like that, just because it is a little bit of an old game, and like I said, you can hit them right when they're about to shoot you, or if you hit them with the cannon, sometimes you can also get that same interrupt, at least on the armatures. On the Colossus, it's a little bit harder to do because they don't have that same wind up, so you really kind of just have to watch to see when it looks like they're going to be shooting, otherwise.
Strange. I expect one of these outposts to be the main base of operations for this incursion.
Hold on. This receiver's picking up some kind of transmission. Based on the signal strength, I'd say it's coming from inside the star cluster.
It must be a message from the primary Geth base. We can use the signal to lock onto its location and take them out.
So, more equipment, yes. And as you can see, we've got a quest update, but since I already know where everything's gonna be at, because I've played through this game quite a few times, we're just gonna go ahead and go back to the Normandy and not worry about going into the journal and finding all of that, because on a lot of these quests, everything's gonna be self-contained within the system there. Did not mean to click land. Just accept. But, basically, yeah, regardless of if you have Tali or anybody in your squad that has any technical abilities, they're gonna go and tell you, hey, there's the signals coming from somewhere else in the system. You don't actually have to bring Tali. I just like to bring Tali as like a lore thing. But return. And then remember that I'm sure you saw that even though we leveled everybody up already, that the squad button lit up again. That's because we changed Liara and Rex out instead of Tali and Garrus, so we have to go level them up, you know, the next time that we take them out, just like it is for everything else. And it's the same way if any of you guys have played Dragon Age Origins. It works the exact same way, where your party members will continue to passively gain experience, so they're the same level as you are throughout the game, so you can level them up in like your party camp and stuff like that. But obviously they didn't have that here. This is where the next one we're going to is that little combo there. As you can see, even though we haven't had anything on any of the other planets in here, all of a sudden we started getting stuff on this one, which is good, so that we can get even more of those little fetch assignments taken care of. So whenever there's a moon, that basically means that's where you're gonna land, so you can always kind of just skip over it. I just wanted to show you guys that. So again, keeping it the same way here, we're gonna do Garrison Tali. So we're gonna go over here, and then we'll go over here, and I think there should be 1 or 2 more resources that are on this one as well, so that way we can, I'll show you guys where we're at on this. So that medallion that we just found here was the last medallion, so all we need now is a Solarian ID tag, and we're done with that. We need 1 more Prothean data drive, 1 more matriarch writing, and then now you can see we're down to 2 more light metals, but we still have a lot of those, so may or may not end up getting that one. We will see. Because the thing about the valuable minerals thing is it literally does absolutely nothing for you on Mass Effect 2, but in Mass Effect 3 you get like 10 extra points boosted to the war asset resource score for the Normandy. Just like if you do all the weapons upgrades in Mass Effect 2, it also boosts it up. So that's why I usually just do it, but ultimately if you have all the DLCs and everything like that, then it's really not going to affect you too much. Alright, so this is going to be that last Asari Matriarch writing. And so now you see we have that completed in the journal as well. Now, one other little point of clarification is that just because you have completed these does not mean that you will not find any extras. Because I'm sure you saw that we found like 6 extra gases after we found all the gases for the valuable resource thing. You will still find other matriarch writings, you'll still find extra Prothean data drives and things like that. And you will still get the same amount of experience as you did for the others for completing it. So you're still just getting experience even though it's not, you know, helping you complete a quest or anything like that. And there is our little downed probe over there. Noise. Let's set that. And onto the last little Geth outpost. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that there's some resources on here, but it could also just be another planet I'm thinking of, because they all kind of run together once you're doing the side content. There it is. So one of the other missions that I will be doing that is a side content that'll have us driving around a little bit on the planet is going to be Rex's family armor quest, which if you complete that quest, it literally does not matter what you do, you will be able to pass a certain speech check on the Vermeer mission. I won't spoil it for those of you who haven't played through or haven't, you know, watched a video on Mass Effect before and things like that, so that way you guys can still experience it for the first time. So there's another light mineral. Should almost be here. This one, as you can see, we kind of have another little mixture of rockets and armatures, I believe, based off of how the minimap's looking. Oh, actually just armatures and little towers. So what I'm going to do here is just focus on getting the little rocket guys here, and now we can just utilize our same tactics as before. Because those are the Colossus down there, it's not the armatures, so they're gonna deal lots of damage. So if you want, you can go down there and try to tangle with them, but I usually prefer not to. Alright, and so then we're just going to back up right here, and we'll just let our shields regenerate, even though we could just go down there and take them if we want to. It just doesn't take that long, so I figure why not. Because the shields for your Mako act the same way as your shields for your squad mates and for you do, where as long as you're not taking damage, you're taken away from that recharge timer. That's why you notice whenever we're getting, even if we're not getting hit by those bolts, right, it still is not letting us recharge, and that's because they're shooting their little version of their Geth minigun at us, basically. And here we go. I'm actually going to take one quick lap around just to see if there's any other resources around us, because sometimes they'll put them on like the edge of the map, but when you're in the middle here, it's usually not the case. And you know, as you noticed on the last one, since whenever you go into the little encampments, it's a jammer, you won't be able to see it. But here we go, just what we're looking for. So this way. So, like I said, the speed boost made doing all this navigating so much easier. In the original game, when you didn't have it, it was basically you just mash and jump and hoping and praying, or just driving up the same hill, like in Skyrim, trying to do that good old Bethesda scaling where you just hop up the side of a mountain and you hope for that one little pixel is basically what you were doing here. So since we got that, I'm pretty sure that was the last one that's available in here. We're just gonna get on over here and finish this little mission up. So since this one's a little bit open, we'll go ahead and stay on the sniper rifle. If it was a little bit more enclosed, then I would be more worried. So what I am going to do though is we're going to use our assassination and bam. And that is why we leveled that up so much. So as you can see, we can really, now that we have the best guns, kind of just do whatever we want. Like I was saying before, that's why it's important to get that extra experience and such. So sometimes it'll bug out like that, where you'll get hit by an ability or something and it'll kind of just freeze you. Kind of just gotta try and hope that you have the best equipment and that you don't just get one shot, otherwise I'm gonna be in trouble. Gonna sabotage.
This will help.
And there we go. There's another one. So you can kind of just walk out here once it's only the little stalker guys left. And then I'm just gonna swap here to this because they hit us with a sabotage. Hey, there you go. So now you just have a little bit of stuff that you can go around and loot. You don't have anything on that side, but got this in here. Tons of weapons upgrades. You got this. So this should be... we got stuck. That's not good. It's fine now. With some of the harder ones, you will notice like that where I probably could have gone around to one of the sides, but if I just see a spot, I'm going to try to fit through it. This, I believe, should be where you get your Geth data from. Yeah, so right here, even if you don't have Tali with you, you can give it to her after the mission, I believe. 'Cause it's all about the Quarians, and so...
You lead.
You saw we got a journal update where it says Tali and the Geth, right?
I'll follow.
But since sometimes I forget things, I just always bring Tali with me so that way I can be sure that I'm reminding myself, hey, talk to Tali after this mission. That's probably the last thing that we'll do in the episode is talk to her about this. And again, it's not going to give you like too much experience because as you can see there's nothing else up here. But it gives you another unique dialogue, and for me, I'm all about that, and that's one of the main reasons that I actually still play Mass Effect 1, even though the grinding can be a little bit much, is I just enjoy seeing all those little unique interactions and dialogues that you can get. Because when Mass Effect 2 came out, they basically came out with a little DLC where you could go and make all the decisions in like a little comic book style thing. So that way if you didn't want to play through ME1, you could just start off at 2. And that's actually the game that I started off with the series was ME2. And that was just because I was...
Message from Admiral Hackett, Commander. Patching it through.
We'll listen to Hackett.
We just received your report. Looks like this Geth incursion was bigger than we thought. They were probably preparing for a major offensive in the system. We're increasing patrols in the Armstrong cluster to make sure they can't establish another foothold in the region. Nice job, Shepard. You saved a lot of human lives on this mission. Hack it out.
So, actually was watching one of my friends go and play this game. I forget if he was playing the first, second, or third one, but I know, Espen was like, hey man, what game is this? Because I came in and was playing like halfway through it, and I was like, oh, this is called Mass Effect, and I asked him, what game should I start out with? And he was like, well, if you get 2, you can kind of just skip through 1 and it won't be too important. And I was like, alright, well, we'll do that then. And I was basically hooked ever since. Mass Effect 2 and 3 are the ones I've played the most, but 2, I probably played through at least 10 or 15 times before I ever played the first game. But... well, like I said, most people, I think, consider Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 1 to be their, like, favorites just because everybody kind of hates on 3 because of the ending. But we're down here to talk to Tali real quick in the engine room again.
Shepard, I need to talk to you. It's important.
Of course, what is it, Tali?
Is something wrong?
You know the data you took from those Geth control nodes? The information you uploaded to Alliance Control? I want a copy of it.
I understand.
You want to bring this data back to the migrant fleet?
Those files have information that could be vital to our efforts to understand the Geth. It could be the key to helping us reclaim our homeworld.
By wiping the Geth out?
You think you can use this information to destroy your enemy?
Not right away. We will need to study it. It could take years, but it will give us new insight into how the Geth have changed and evolved over the past centuries.
Now you can do the whole, if I give it to you, you leave dialogue that you saw on the left. But Tali's basically going to say, well, no, I wouldn't leave until we completed the mission, because she knows how important the mission to stop Saren is. Basically is all that she'll say on that. So that's why I kind of usually just keep going on the right side.
Go ahead. Make a copy.
My people, I owe you a great debt. One I can never repay. The only thing I can offer in return is what you already have. My solemn promise to stay with you until Saren and his Geth armies are defeated.
Good.
I never wanted anything more.
Thank you, Shepard.
See, so we just got 1,000 experience. You get one measly little Paragon point, and that's something that you'll kind of notice goes up quite a bit in the other games, whereas in ME1 it's really not that much. But if you are playing along with us and you didn't do all the side content and things like that already, then I would recommend that you sell all the stuff we just picked up on this mission so that you can go and get yourself some serious weapons upgrades. But that's going to be it for this episode, and I'm just going to sell everything here, and then on the next one we'll be going back to the Citadel to take care of turning in some of those side quests that I did off camera, and I hope to see you guys there. Bye.